Giving you the perspective and insight from top political insiders every afternoon. This is Montreal Now on News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
All right, we're keeping the lines going. We don't have a winner yet. This is fine. Let's get to our next story here. Again, the five-letter word we're looking for your prize today contains the letter R and the letter N. You think you know it, 790-0800 to win that Perfection gift box. Fred Beauchemin has now officially... Fred, was this morning you actually did this, or is this tomorrow? When was this?
It was this morning.
Okay.
It was this morning, 10 o'clock.
Fred Beauchemin, you've heard him here before. We had him on originally when he was talking about doing this. Well, now it's official. He has decided to throw his hat in the ring for the liberal leadership provincially here in Quebec. So, Fred, first of all, I guess one says congratulations. It's early in the campaign, obviously. We're not going to know anything for months. Why did you decide to do this officially? Well, obviously, we know you were thinking about it, but what made you decide, it's time, the time is right, I want to do this?
Well, the time is right to do this because this present government is actually taking Quebec onto this disaster course that we need to just switch the gear. We need to really think about the future of all Quebecers. And, really what this government is doing is mortgaging the future of all generations of Quebecers, and that's just terrible, and that's why I need to get involved.
Okay, so you're officially in this race. I had Charles Milliard on the show a couple of weeks ago. We know Danny Coderre is still there for the time being, although one's beginning to wonder for how much longer, given the personal issues he has right now with taxes. What differentiates you from any of the others running?
Well, I'm already an elected official, in the Liberal government of Quebec, in the Liberal Party of Quebec. I'm an MNA. I've been an MNA for 2 years now, representing the folks of Ville-LaSalle in Montreal. I have had a career for more than 30 years in capital markets, as you know. I come with an experience and a set of lens that, basically trying to take Quebec forward. We need to actually have an economic view where, as to where we want to go forward. And the most important aspect of what's available within Quebec is our resources and what are we going to do with them, and what are we going to do with the ability to take our universities to the next level as well. So there's so many things that we need to take to the next level within Quebec that I feel like this is the moment that we need to push.
But I'm guessing that anybody else running might say something very similar to what you just said about taking Quebec to the next stage, the next level. So again, with respect to differentiation, if you will, what's your policy, or how would your policy differ significantly from any of theirs?
We need to actually have an economy that is based on knowledge. We need to actually have an economy that has intellectual property, more intellectual property per capita than we have right now. So we need to invest in research. We need to invest in ways that is going to create wealth long-term in Quebec. So my view is to do that with the economy, but we also need to think about the 17 economic regions of Quebec. We actually have lots of different, engines within Quebec that are located all around this province. And, they're not all developing at the same speed, and they're not developing with the same, strength and energy. And so, therefore, we need to think about that, because Quebec needs to evolve equally, so to speak, in the sense that we need to actually be able to have this engine of growth that is distributed well within all of the province, so that everybody feels like they're going to keep pushing together for Quebec to go in the right direction.
So, it's interesting you bring up the economic angle, and clearly that's something you're involved or have been involved in, but we have someone else in Charles Milliard, Quebec Chambers of Commerce. So it looks like from an economy perspective, there's some people pushing for the same sort of thing. I wonder what you think, if I can ask Fred, about this whole idea of a Quebec constitution that Antoine Dion-Charest brought up a couple of weeks ago. I know this is not official policy within the party. Do you support that idea?
I totally do, because the Constitution of Quebec is a unifying project that will allow us to affirm our identity and to solidify and reaffirm the rights of freedom of all Quebecers. It's extremely important, because you know what? A Quebecer is not someone that, is someone that actually decided to settle here, whether they were born in Quebec or elsewhere. It's very important that everyone, including obviously the English-speaking Quebecers, we need to actually have the rights to receive health services in English. There's no negotiation about that. And, obviously that's going to be something that a Quebec Constitution will enshrine. We need to think about the future of all generations.
Yeah, you've heard and read other people who have spoken up and saying this is really, it's just a piece of paper. It doesn't really mean anything because it can be changed at some point in the future. What's your answer to that?
It is a piece of paper, true, but it's the hardest piece of paper that could be changed, as opposed to just a piece of one bill that could be amended simply by just simple majority. A constitution is the most difficult thing to change in a nation. And so that's why I think it actually provides more security for the English-speaking community of Quebec, and it provides more security for all Quebecers because it's all of our rights and freedom that will be protected, better protected within the Constitution of Quebec.
So you brought up Anglos, and that's obviously something our audience, for example, is happy to hear. But I wondered, too, because the reality of this is in order to win a provincial election in this province, that vote's not going to do it. That's not enough. And lately, I guess, I don't want to be out of numbers here, but 7%, 6%, something like that, Francophone support for the provincial Liberal Party is at historic lows. How do you fix that?
Just by being on the ground, going out there and shaking hands, then, visiting all those 17 regions, as I mentioned. And this is what I've been doing for the last 2 years. I was in Abitibi at the beginning of summer. I just came back from being on the Côte-Nord and in Gaspé about a couple of weeks ago. I mean, that's exactly what everybody needs to do. We need to go out there, visit businesses, visit community center, visit Quebecers where they live, and talk about our liberal values. Talk about what we think is the right thing to do for all of Quebecers. And you know what I find out when I'm going out there? Exactly what Quebecers want. And one of the things I've picked up from many parents that I've talked to is that from their perspective, they want their kids to speak English. They want their kids to be able to be bilingual because they know that they need to actually have this ability to be able to do commerce outside of just the border of Quebec. And that's very important for all of them. And there's so many other things as well. But I mean, at the end of the day, the only way to connect and get our percentage up, I guess, in the rest of Quebec is by being out there and talking to people about what is important for them. And everybody that I've spoken to, everybody wants to have a success story. Everybody wants to succeed. I don't know anyone that doesn't want to succeed. And so therefore the economy becomes the most important and natural vector of a common denominator for all of us, in the sense that everybody wants to make sure that we have food on the table and growth, basically.
Last question, I'm going to run out of time. I just want to make sure I heard that right. You're out in the regions of Quebec, and you're telling me the Francophone people whose doors you knocked on or community centers you visited actually said to you they believe it's important for their children to learn English.
It's as many languages as possible, but obviously we are in North America, and so if they want to do commerce outside of just Quebec, obviously English is a natural thing that they need to have as an asset, for sure.
Okay. Fred, I wish you luck. I hope we get to talk again. There's still a long way, as I said, till this race is decided, but good luck to you.
Looking forward to our next chat. Thank you.
Take good care. Fred Beauchemin, now officially in the race for provincial Liberal leader.